Four things, if you ask me. First is what everyone will refer to as a classic rooting gesture or rooting activity. Rooting meaning the newborn is rooting around with its head and mouth, looking for food, essentially just stretching and yearning for food, looking for the breast, looking to nurse. The tongue may be curled to the side, according to some folks. I don't know if I necessarily saw that in my son, but that's possible. But they may crane their neck, they may arch their back, turn the head from side to side, and they're rooting. They're just looking for the breast, looking for the bottle, looking for food. The next cue for hunger could be hands or fist to mouth, but not to suck, because sucking is a primary self-soothing reflex or tool in the newborn's toolbox for how to self-soothe. So you don't want to mistake it for that, but if you know your baby, you have some eye on the clock, you understand when the last feeding was, you're trying to follow some basic schedule to keep things organized in your house. That shouldn't be a problem. If they're putting their hands to the mouth, putting their fist in their mouth, it may mean that they're hungry. Here's an interesting one. You may hear and I think the next two are more subtle hunger cues, but they were very valuable for us because, in the first month when we were just hovering over this bassinet, talk about, helicopter parents. I mean, we're just like obsessed with this newborn. Is he breathing? How long has he been sleeping or whatever? Like I said earlier in this video, you often can catch the baby coming out of a nap. It's been an hour and a half. We expect them to wake up soon anyway. And sure enough, you might hear what some experts refer to as a slight cough-like sound in the back of the throat. And believe it or not, we perceive that and experience that with our son. Cough-like sound, or even just a slight small cough from the back of the throat. May not be the case for you, but I thought that was an interesting, very subtle hunger cue that suggested that even as this baby is still asleep and maybe working off the last few seconds or minutes of sleep that he needs, he's emerging from that sleep and he's hungry. It's, the main reason why he's going to be waking up to begin with. And they wake up with appetites that are fierce, right? So, you start to hear a cough, a small little cough. You might be able to, get yourself ready and maybe catch the wave where you bring this baby to the breast right as he's coming out of his nap. Won't even hear crying. Baby will start feeding, especially once the breastfeeding is really taken and mom and baby are both comfortable. You get a good latch. Baby is just nursing away. And then all you got to think about for crying after that is the gassiness, burping, dirty diapers, and then eventually or soon enough, fairly soon in the fourth trimester, thinking about nap time. But look for that, and I wonder if that you'll hear something like that too, a small cough-like sound in the back of the throat. The fourth hunger cue that I want to share with you guys, and the second one that is rather subtle and is a leading, like that cough, it's a leading indicator. It's something that you can catch, like I keep saying, you can catch it before you hear the crying. With a feed-wake sleep cycle, that's going to be very difficult to do because the crying will pretty quickly follow in close order from the nap because they'll just wake up and they're hungry. You know what I mean? But the fourth cue is smacking or licking the lips. We got that a lot. Our son would hear smacking of the lips. He's like asleep, half asleep, but just smacking his lips because he's hungry, even as he's waking up from his sleep. And that's a less subtle than the cough, but it's still a subtle hunger cue that's a leading indicator. Get yourself ready. I mean, I would even dare say you could probably pick up the baby right then and there and maybe wake him up and put him to the breast, and it'll be feed time. But maybe not. Obviously it depends on the clock and how much time he's had to nap, and if you really do need to wake him up, or just let it ride. If you're there anyway, hovering above the bassinet, waiting to put him to the breast and start the feeding, if you're on top of it anyway, then you can wait. But it's a leading indicator, and I think it's more common than the cough, perhaps. But look for that smacking the lips, even as he's sleeping. If it's been about an hour and a half, hour 45, 2 hours more, he's probably waking up and he's probably hungry.